Hi Dragonflies! So today we're going to look at some parts of this book because it's not really a storybook, it's more about how things grow. So here we have how a seed grows into a plant. So first we have our little seed here and it's covered by dirt. And then as the rain comes and the sun shines on it, look what happens. Do you see there's a little bit of a root coming out? You can see that the roots start growing into the dirt, but there's nothing really coming out of the top yet. Then what happens is a stem starts to grow. Now this is a seed for a tree, so it looks a little different than a seed for a flower. So the stem is brown, just like trunks of trees are brown, so is this stem. So it starts growing here and the roots are starting to get bigger. Then what happens is the seed splits and it has two leaves, and those start soaking something up called the sun, and in the leaves they're green with something called chlorophyll, and that's a really big word, but the green part soaks in the sun and it does something called photosynthesis, which is another big word, and what that means is it turns the sunshine into food for the plant using its green leaves. So they're right here. So these are the little ones still, and the roots are starting to grow. And then over time, more leaves start sprouting out the top, and they do the same thing. They make food for the plant. So the food comes down here and the roots soak up water, and together they help the plant grow. So in this case, it's a tree. So here you can see it a little bit closer here. So now we're going to look at this little girl, and she goes to a nursery. So this girl here, she's going to a nursery, which is kind of like a place where you can buy lots of different kinds of plants, and they start them out really small and they grow bigger and bigger, so you can buy trees that have already started to grow a lot bigger. So the nursery worker here is showing them lots of different kinds of trees. Some trees have flowers in the spring. You might have seen those around your home. Lots of them are pink. The trees turn into pink flowers. And then after the flowers, little leaves start to come out. And sometimes there's trees with pine needles instead, and those are called evergreens. So this nursery worker is working on watering the plants because the trees need a lot of water to grow and feel good. So she chooses a maple tree, and her tree was ready to go home with them. It was about 4 feet high and it was a little bit taller than her. So this tree has its roots all down here in this little bag so that you can pick it up and carry it home to bury. So the nursery worker helps them choose a shovel to dig a hole to plant the tree, and she recommends some fertilizer to feed the tree as it grows. Kind of gives it a little boost. Then she goes over the instructions on how to plant the tree. So back at their house, she picks out a place in their backyard where the tree will have lots of sun and lots of room to grow, because trees get a lot bigger as they grow, so you got to think about where you're going to put them before you plant them. Then her dad and her dig a hole with the shovel, and the hole needs to be as deep as the root ball, so that the bottom of the tree, that fabric covered area, it needs to be as deep as that and about 3 times as wide so that it has lots of space. So what you do is you take the fabric off of the roots, and then you lower the tree into the hole, and then what you do is you fill in that hole with soil and fertilizer, and then you put bark or mulch on top to keep it nice and weed free for the water to feed the tree and not all the weeds. And then she gives her tree a nice drink of water. So let's see here. So this is her tree in the summer here, so you can see that the leaves are green, and it has these 2 stakes next to it to help support it so that it doesn't fall over if it gets really windy. And then when the weather turns cold, the maple leaves turn red and they start to fall down because the leaves They die during the winter and they fall down to the ground because the tree can't support the leaves during the winter when it's cold. So it's kind of like the tree takes a long nap during the winter. So this is it in the winter, and then when spring comes, like right now, the trees start to have little buds. Some of them have flowers and some of them just have these little green buds that form on the branches. And then they start growing leaves all over again. So that's a little bit about how trees grow, and I hope you guys have the chance to plant some things in gardens or in containers in your house, and maybe you can look at them for leaves and roots and all that sort of thing. So we'll probably be sending out some more information about growing things in the coming days. Bye guys.